Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very exciting version of TechRise, where we have our sports tech theme in partnership with Wilson Sporting Goods. I'm so excited to be here with you. I am Desiree Vargas Wrigley, the Executive Director of TechRise by P33 and a two-time Latina founder here in Chicago. For those of you unfamiliar with TechRise, we are a multi-stakeholder initiative designed in partnership with Verizon to help support Chicago's Black and Latinx founders all the way from idea stage to exit. So each week, 3 to 5 founders take the stage. They pitch their businesses in 4 minutes, followed by some questions with some judges. And then the judges deliberate to decide who's going to take home somewhere between $20,000 and $50,000. Today's $25,000 prize is sponsored in part by Wilson Sports. And so we're really excited to see who is going to win. As a quick reminder, you can always apply anytime if you are a Black or Latinx founder here in Chicagoland by going to techrise.co/apply. And because it's after Labor Day, we've had a nice little break, but it's really the beginning of a lot of sports. I'm here in my Chiefs gear, and a lot of us are here excited to kick off a great sports season. So with that, I am excited to introduce our judges. First judge is Chris Ryan, who is Director of Supply Chain Innovation for Racket Sports at Wilson. Chris has over 15 years of experience with Wilson, specializing mostly on the product management and development work of Wilson's Racket Sports. He's a graduate of Indiana University Bloomington and holds a BS in Business and Computer Information Systems. So welcome, Chris. We're glad to have you. Next, we have Ryan Mundy, former NFL player, Super Bowl champion with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and current founder and CEO of Alchemy Health, and also an investor. Alchemy Health, a company rooted in Black wellness, creates digital self-care products designed for our culture and our care. Ryan also continues to serve his community as a part of many organizations, including the Alzheimer's Association National Board of Directors. Thanks for being here, Ryan. And then next we have Jasmine Robinson, partner at Causeway Media Partners. Jasmine has been operating and investing in the sports ecosystem for nearly a decade. She is a partner at Causeway Media Partners, a sports-focused growth stage investment fund, and is also board member at Thrill One Sports and Entertainment, and a board observer at Flow Sports, Quint Events, and UITV. Great to have you, Jasmine. Thanks. And our final judge today is Kiki Mills Johnston, who is one of the founding team members of Drive by DraftKings, a multi-stage venture capital firm investing in sports tech and entertainment. She serves as managing director, supporting overall strategy, investment diligence and recommendations, and portfolio management. So thank you all so much for being here. We are excited to hear the questions from such experts in the field. So we'll say goodbye to you, and we will welcome our first startup onto the stage, Athlytic. So welcome, Ashton Keys. Okay, and we're ready when you are.
Let me share.
Do you want us to go to the next person while you figure that out?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay. Can we get Beyond the Soul to come and join us, please? Ahmad, Mohammed, do you mind?
Of course. Thanks for having me. I get set up now. Share my screen.
Perfect. Thanks so much.
Yep.
All right, you're good to go.
All right. My name is Ahmad Mohammed, co-founder and CEO of Beyond the Soul. And as a human performance data company, I represent our team speaking on a topic that relates to my personal lifestyle. My experience as a collegiate athlete has brought me to the highest of peaks in a conference tournament Final Four, but also to low points by dealing with health setbacks. In my sophomore season, 8 of the 14 players on my team became plagued by injury, leaving us shorthanded and confined as a below 500 team. Statistics further support this durability issue in the case of 90% of student athletes reporting some kind of sports-related injury, 54% reporting they have played while being injured, 37% experiencing sprains. But let's take into account who's responsible for getting these skilled individuals back on their feet. That happens to be physical therapists and athletic trainers. No matter how much strength training and maintenance athletes are put through, there is still a gap in human performance data available to these healthcare professionals. This is where Beyond the Soul comes into play, as we present sport practitioners with the valuable data they need in two ways. First, by providing the smart sensor insole that tracks key biomechanical metrics to analyze whether a person is strengthening and correcting movements through their prescribed exercise. Secondly, we provide a machine learning powered software that collects data on a patient's gait cycle, which physical therapists use to develop more foundation building practices in order to help athletes optimize performance in their specific sport. Now, you may be thinking, why an insole? Well, this has been validated and has drawn interest from our potential customers. From a 2020 survey we conducted with Rush Physical Therapy, we found that more than 75% of respondents were interested in testing a prototype and supported our use of gait technology. Adding to that, my head athletic trainer at Illinois Tech, Chapin Weedy, and Hatal Kakarni from NovaCare Rehabilitation reiterated how our data could be used to analyze improvement percentages and mechanic changes within patients. Not only that, Liz Yearly from Impact Physical Therapy has agreed to assist us with creating an MVP design to test on her patients. This makes us really excited about the market we are penetrating. And from research, projections indicate that physical therapy access is becoming less restricted across the United States. Another thing to consider is that each year, on average, $20 billion is invested into sports-related performance. And that further supports how the sports analytics market is going up to $5.2 billion by 2024. These data points all serve as key performance indicators for us to drive demand in our market and then sell to our customers through our subscription model, which empowers practitioners to access our data by being cost-effective. And we also plan to offer a hardware bundle for our insoles that are packaged to go inside facilities. Compared to our competitors, we want to change the game by enhancing sport and eventually creating energy-efficient and scalable hardware designs that leverage our machine learning algorithms. The funds we receive from winning TechRise will be used towards fulfilling R&D goals by partnering with our physical therapy pilots and the Center for Sports Innovation at Illinois Tech to test prototypes on university athletes. Take a look at our curiosity-driven team, starting with myself as CEO, Miles Curry is Chief Operating Officer, who also has started experience as a student athlete, Andrea Ocampo, our Chief Technology Officer, coming from a computer science and app development background, and our accredited advisors, Dr. Chris Hedden, Dr. Miriam Saleh, who hold experience working with data performance startups. Ultimately, we want to get the job done. We know together that it all starts with improving the body's most critical foundation, the soul. So join us in making the difference. Please feel free to ask questions about our development and customer journey.
Great job. All right, I'll welcome the judges on now to ask a few questions.
Okay.
Jasmine, you want to start?
Sure. Thanks for that presentation. Really interesting idea. I'm curious how you approach the sales process. Do you sell to athletes directly, or do you sell via physical therapists? What's the approach?
Thank you for asking that. So our approach to selling is straight direct business to business. We feel that approaching it with physical therapists is a key factor because they are the experts within the industry. They know the expertise behind the biomechanical data. They actually go to school for that, understanding that. So extrapolating all of those aspects with that, being able to make that process more efficient for athletes as the end users will make them understand it better as they track the data. So for example, we track things like strike patterns to stride length, things of that nature, so that it can really hone in on their performance.
Ryan, you want to go next?
Yep, thank you so much for that presentation. Really interesting. How do you think about, I'm just curious to know, like, who is in this space and who would you consider like a competitor right now?
As a competitor, there are two that I've seen, and they are actually UK based. One is called Digisol, and the other is called Nerve Run. And those two have approached the market in a way of just specializing with runners specifically, because they feel like they want to cater towards the weekend warrior, essentially. And with us, we're trying to present it to physical therapists because, like, as I've reiterated, they have the expertise in order to simplify the data that's being collected within our technology. So having that process there will actually make a better process for anybody that plays a sport. So.
Kiki, you want to go next?
Sure. Incredible big problem. So love that you're trying to tackle it. So when it comes to the physical therapist and just giving us a sense of the use case when they can simplify the data. So what is it that as a PT that I'm seeing or I'm trying to understand that I can then come to you and say, Ahmad, this is what we need to do?
So one of the key elements of our data actually comes from the point of impact. So for example, I'm a basketball player, right? Let's say I was doing some squats within rehab and being able to track that on our pressure mapping system, and they could pinpoint that, they could determine, okay, let's say if I need to land more on the ball of my foot, that'd be more explosive, then we could be able to track that. Then they could relay that to the athlete so they can actually visualize it as opposed to just looking at it with their naked eye.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Chris, you want to go?
Yeah, I'm just curious on, again, great presentation. How are you getting users kind of pre-injury? A lot of this seems post-injury. So how do you get users to start using this if it's going through the physical therapists that are?
Yeah, definitely. I just want to say this personally. I believe I'm blessed just being from a technical based university as Illinois Tech. So I could leverage my resources throughout that, being able to be exposed to all the sports innovation at our school, as well as with athletes who are interested in it. I've told this idea to plenty of people across campus, and just finding out how to optimize that performance with that, use the technology. I feel like just having that direct business to business sale with the physical therapist and having that testimony could really drive it for athletes to use it.
Great job, Ahmad. Thank you so much. And next, we're going to invite Leagueswype onto the stage and Darius Grandberry. Okay, we're ready when you are. You look like you're muted, though.
Can you see my screen?
Not yet. Looks like now. Yep, we're good to go.
Good to go.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get it. Good afternoon, all. Thank you all for joining today. I am excited to be pitching at the Sports Tech competition because ironically, it's the most exciting time of the year for sports fans everywhere. It's fantasy football season, right? Your friends are already speculating draft picks, talking trash to each other. But now comes the part that everyone hates, collecting those league dues. Your boy Rodney, he swears he's already paid you in cash. Mike said he sent his via Zelle, he thinks. And your girl Lisa? Lisa keeps replying with emojis every time you text her to pay up. If you know like I know, this has become the way of life for 60 million sports fans everywhere because paying in and getting paid in online gaming sucks. But fans love betting anyway. They spent $4 billion in 2019, and in 2020, despite COVID, despite a sports stoppage, that number jumped to $22 billion. But you know what sports bettors don't love? They love having our money spread across multiple platforms, one for fantasy football, another for daily fantasy sports. And now you have sports books popping up weekly, creating more of a headache. Hate logging in, site after site, entering social security numbers, taking pictures of a driver's license just to get money we've already won. Leagueswype seeks to aggregate and centralize the only one-stop digital wallet where you can manage all of your payment activity across all platforms within one single secure application. How you doing? I'm Darius. I'm founder of Leagueswype, where we get you in the game and paid fast. This industry and the audience of sports fanatics present the perfect opportunity to build a payments platform that speaks specifically to them. The incumbents have let them down. All explicitly ban competitive gaming payments on their platform. That's why we're coming in hyper-focused, targeting this overlooked segment. Leagueswype will be accepted everywhere you sport. And the time is right. Legalized sports betting is here to stay. It's expected to be a $55 billion a year market. The pandemic has only escalated the adoption of digital payments. And for companies that add value in the space like Stripe and Venmo, valuations continue to soar. The last year was our training camp year. We took the field with a bootstrapped MVP, beta tested with a couple hundred users, doing roughly $2,000 in monthly transaction volume, securing trust, building brand awareness, collecting thousands of emails and followers across social of people excited about what we're building. We've done the work. We've launched and learned on our own dime. We sought mentorship, refined our strategy, participated in pre-accelerators and accelerators. We've listened to our early customers and now have a solid plan to get 10,000 power players on our platform, playing the games they love and getting paid fast when they win. And we're taking a very pragmatic approach that allows us to move from servicing a $120 million a year market to becoming an infrastructure solution in a market that will soon balloon past $20 billion. And look, I've been moving money efficiently for over 20 years. I'm a CPA, a CFO, a 20+ year fantasy sports player, bettor, and gamer, and I've drafted a fantastic team of payment risk and compliance experts, including Sean, a 20+ year payment vet at Visa and Venmo, and Harper, who sold a payment company to PayPal. Now we're starting to collect those crucial first checks. The money earned today is critical. It allows us to pay the necessary banking startup costs that allows us to build our platform in compliance to move money and remove friction for our customers. And we see this as a great opportunity to create jobs to allow Black entrepreneurs to participate in this new burgeoning industry. Unlike what's happening in the newly legalized cannabis industry, we want to make sure Black entrepreneurs don't get left out of this wealth building opportunity. Now, I'm happy to answer any additional questions you may have, including how we make money, more about our product roadmap, or how we're smartly navigating the regulatory landscape. Thank you all for your time today.
All right, great job. I'm going to welcome the judges on stage, and I think it makes sense to start with Kiki.
I figured I was going to get the first one. All right, no, I'll do a softball. No, I'm kidding. Talk to me about, I'm in 7 different leagues. I'm on multiple platforms. Some are just groups of friends. Some is a DraftKings. Like, how do I find you? How do I connect? How do all these come sink into you?
We're the central hub. So it starts at Leagueswype. You sign up, you become a Leagueswype wallet user. From there, you're able to participate on all of our partner platforms. So if we have partnerships with FanDuel, DraftKings, you're able to utilize the money you've deposited in that wallet on those partner platforms. If you are collecting funds for your friends and you play on Yahoo and you want to just collect and store and transfer those funds, you utilize our wallet to do that. It gives you full transparency into the league. We're looking at this as being the central hub, the passport you use to move from experience to experience very seamlessly.
Cool. Thank you.
Jasmine, you want to go next?
Sure. As a user, I absolutely love the idea behind this product. I'm curious how you think about approaching customer acquisition here, since it sounds like you want customers to start with you. Are you executing sort of paid direct marketing to consumers or some other approach?
Yeah, so we're launching our flagship platform, which solves for a use case that we solve for. We call it the commissioner's dilemma. So if you all play in season-long fantasy play, collecting money is a pain, right? We have a real great marketing strategy to get 10,000 what we call power commissioners on our platform who play in between 5 or 10 leagues a year to bring between 50 and 100 users onto our platform. So there will be huge network effects there. Ironically, as we were building this out, we were getting inbound calls from new operators saying, hey, we didn't realize how difficult it was to take money on our platform. We understand that you are becoming known as the money mover in this space. Can you power payments on our platform? So we are now starting to build relationships with platform operators to onboard them to power their payments. So their users become Leagueswype users. So that is where we begin to really scale our customer base.
Chris, you want to go next?
Yeah, I think I'm just interested. Can you go back over the partner platforms and how do you expect to make money in between all these layers?
Yeah, so we are a payment business. So we're collecting transaction fees. So we're right now working directly with banks. Compliance is a huge part of this. Regulatory compliance, moving payments. That's why we spent the last 2 years immersing ourselves in payments and compliance so that we know how to build this platform in full regulatory compliance. In fact, we're down at Falls FinTech right now, Falls FinTech Accelerator in Sioux Falls, partnering directly with the banks so that we know how to build this in full regulatory compliance so that we can take advantage of the fee structure, the interchange fees, and how fees are exchanged from user to platform, platform to platform, platform to user. So on our revenue roadmap now is making money through transaction fees. We also have referral partnerships with partner platforms. So if we send users to those platforms, we get paid a commission. And some of those commissions are really rich. They are in perpetuity and as much as 30–40% of what people pay on those platforms.
Hey, real quick for Ryan question.
Would you be able to like draft a fantasy team on your app eventually?
No,
Like, is
we're
that a
moving
part
the
of
money.
roadmap, or you're just
We're not an
solely focused
operator.
on like moving money?
We're moving money. So think about it, eventually Yahoo's season-long leagues powered by Leagueswype. They can handle all the management of the money of the leagues. We handle the movement of the money. And we've done that. We tried to do that and our users
Hey, I
said,
gotta
no.
cut us
I'm
off.
sorry.
All right, no problem. Great
Okay.
job.
All right.
Lots of good questions. All right, next I'm excited to welcome PromoShare and Ernesto Pedroza.
Hello, I'm here.
Great, we can see you.
Yeah, great.
And we can see your slides, so good to go when you are.
Hey. Hello, everyone. What does a half-empty Rihanna concert, a Major League Baseball game, and an NFL football game all have in common? Over $15 billion in unsold ticket revenue year over year. Hello, my name is Ernesto Pedroza, and I am the founder of PromoShare. PromoShare is a word-of-mouth platform tailor-made for sports teams, event producers, and venue operators who want to sell more tickets by leveraging existing fans and leveraging them as ambassadors so they can sell tickets to their friends and their network. We believe a fan's voice is far more valuable than a paid ad, most likely just dying in social media threads. You see, our clients are enlisting existing fans who have a true and authentic connection with their team or event. PromoShare further amplifies the ambassador's reach by enabling social buying, turning their buyer into their seller and turning one fan into many. We built the PromoShare platform so it easily integrates with all the major ticketing platforms, and we've already have earned some of these integrations. The PromoShare platform also manages the entire ambassador lifecycle from activation through sales attribution down to the single individual, allowing our clients the ability to create campaigns that promote loyalty and frequency, resulting in more tickets sold with a lot less ad spend. PromoShare allows fans makes it easy for fans to become influencers or ambassadors of their favorite teams or event. And with one single click, they can broadcast all the event info to their friends in their network, and they can visualize their progress and rewards they either have earned or are available to them. To give you an idea of how the PromoShare platform really works, I'd like for you to meet Bola. Bola is an avid Chicago White Sox fan, and he also loves TikTok. He created a video for the vaccination campaign at White Sox Park. His post generated over 5,000 views and sold 63 tickets for a total of $2,395 for one single game. Bola was rewarded with 4 free box seats and $100 in concession cash. Since then, he has generated $2,000 more in ticket sales for the team and is working his way to throwing out the first pitch at a game. Now imagine the impact millions of fans like Bola can make. Since our launch, we have partnered with some of the world's most recognizable sports and live event brands and have generated over $2.5 million in new ticket revenue for our clients, and thousands of ambassadors have earned rewards, earning us a spot on the Major League Baseball roster of integrated partners. This past summer, we were part of a SBC Global Sports Tech Accelerator. They also made an investment into PromoShare. The PromoShare team has firsthand experience in the problem we are trying to solve today. We have over 30 years in the fan rewards and data analytics space. So if you're a sports organization, an event producer who is looking to grow engagement with a certain fan community, or simply is looking to sell more tickets, we want to talk to you. We are also looking for intros to investors in the sports and fan engagement space. Thank you very much.
All right, great job. Let's invite the judges onto the stage. And Chris, you want to start with the first question?
Sure. Does the user own the ticket, or they're just helping to sell the tickets?
So the user is a fan who gets invited by their team or event to represent that team or event as an ambassador and influencer. They share content, event, information or content that they create for the event. Our platform tracks all the social analytics, engagement, impressions, but also any ticket sales that derive from that content. And our clients then reward these ambassadors or influencers based on, either impressions or ticket sales. And 99% of them reward on ticket sales.
Jasmine, you want to go next?
Sure. I'm curious how you think about the competitive landscape in this space. I've seen a few other players kind of trying to work into this ecosystem. So who do you consider the most serious competitors, and how do you win against them?
Yeah, so there's a handful of competitors. There's two, one in the sports space called Fivo. But ultimately what they're doing is they're piggybacking off of existing sales, off of people that are already coming to the ballpark and allowing them to form groups. What we're doing is we're bringing new fans to the ballparks or, events, and really leveraging also, social and demographic info, right? So a lot of our clients want to grow engagement within the Hispanic, Black, gay, lesbian communities, and they're utilizing samples of these segments and utilizing PromoShare to grow engagement.
Okay. Ryan, you want to go next?
I'm just curious to hear, from you, what the value proposition is to the customer buying a ticket from an ambassador or influencer, as opposed to going to like Ticketmaster or StubHub. Like, is there additional perks that come with that, or it's just like, look, this is just a different way to market, ticket sales?
Well, because of our integrations, they technically are buying them from Ticketmaster or StubHub or anybody like that. But if you and I are friends, right, and I'm inviting you to a game, saying, hey, we're getting a group of people together, and you and I are in the same circle, right? The value proposition of the team is that they're incentivizing me and others in my group to participate, right? And whether it's a special theme night or maybe just be any game of the week, right? So what we're doing is we're putting additional butts in the seats for our clients, which in turn is not just ticket revenue, it's also concession revenue, and it's also a lot of data and a way to continue to market to this fan community a lot more authentically than a paid ad.
Kiki, you want to go?
Yeah. Since you're selling into the rights holders and the teams, can you talk to the monetization model by transaction, SaaS type of business? How's it?
Yeah, so we do have a licensing fee and a small rev share. So we got a couple of different levels depending on our involvement, depending on the number of events that we're doing. We're also rolling out a additional service which has a search function that allows our clients to search for fans in their immediate area by 50 something different filters we created, right? So that's going to be something new where they'll be able to tap into certain fans or individuals they may like their brand. But it's a simple licensing plus rev share.
All right, I got to cut us off, but great job, Ernesto. And we are going to welcome Salvador Dueñas on with Remix, I'm sorry.
Hello.
Hey, we're ready when you are.
All right, give me 1 second to get set up.
Looks good.
Okay. Screen's working. You can see me.
Yep, you're good to go.
All right. If you're an enthusiastic gamer, the only ways for you to make money are through streaming, competitions, and sponsorships, which are typically reserved for the top performing gaming athletes. For many, supporting themselves as an esport athlete is unattainable, but what if you could just make money by playing the games that you love? Remix Games is a blockchain game platform where players can earn and sell rewards from gameplay to each other. Rewards are minted as NFTs and traded on our internal marketplace. But this is actually one half of the Remix magic. Most of the content in the game itself is actually not created by us, but by the third-party creators, allowing for artists and writers to make money as well. This is because we're monetizing the 40 million players of tabletop RPGs that are already making tons of homebrew content. For example, let's say you're a digital game artist like Allison here. She can mint her work as an NFT through our game system and set the rules for licensing. A narrative writer like Noah may love the story art she created and wants to include it or remix it into his story. Cindy, a player, loves the stories Noah creates and purchases his quest module to play with her friends. Remix takes a percentage of the transaction and everybody along the chain gets paid through the dynamic licensing capabilities of NFTs. An average tabletop player like Cindy will typically spend $60 a month on quests and stories. She can then make her money back by selling the sword she won to another player or fund other adventures she wants to play. Games like Roblox and Decentraland let creators build in their world as well. While successful, they have higher barriers to entry because those creations are in a 3D space. Our game engine focuses on monetizing the tabletop RPG community, where content is narrative-based and creators can create new storylines and locations without needing to write code or complex animations. Ultimately, Remix gives players and game creators the opportunity to make money doing what they love. I founded this company with my friend Dev after winning a pitch competition at a hackathon, and we are proud Chicagoans. We were raised here, went to school here, and have dedicated our careers to training the next generation of students here. I myself am a startups manager for a local nonprofit called Future Founders, where I coach and help underrepresented founders in Chicago start and scale their businesses. My friend Dev has spent years going around Chicago universities dressed in a spacesuit to teach blockchain engineering and prepare Chicago for when crypto will go to the moon. We've since expanded our team to include an engineer from Amazon and an award-nominated game designer. Our next step is to get our demo in the hands of the tabletop enthusiasts that we have been doing customer discovery with. We're leveraging our standing in various tabletop communities to build alongside the players and market our game when it's ready at the end of September. Then we will begin onboarding the creators in October so they can start making money too. Long term, we actually want to license our technology to larger publishers like Pinnacle Entertainment and Wizards of the Coast, who own popular titles like Savage Worlds and Dungeons and Dragons. Not only will players be able to make money in our game, but other games they already know and love. To start this process of onboarded creators, we're working with IP lawyers to draft licensing contracts for them. So this process is expensive, and one of the reasons we are here at TechRise today, so we need your help. Help us get to a place where the millions of artists and creators around the world can further monetize their work, and players can get access to new revenue opportunities outside the extremely limited scope of esports.
Great job. We'll welcome the judges to the stage. Ryan, you want to kick things off?
Yeah, I'm curious to know how you would quantify how big this market is.
Yeah, Dev, are you around? Can you help with that?
Yeah, so we play in the blockchain gaming industry market, which has a number of competitive places. The market sizes are kind of ridiculous. Our competitors are doing millions to billions of dollars in revenue. In terms of player base, we're looking at 40 million players in the tabletop industry, and then a wider audience when we talk about video games.
All right, Chris, you want to go next?
Sure. Thanks. Really interesting. In terms of the platform, is it that you guys want people to come to your platform and stay within your space, or are you bringing in other games? That just trying to understand that.
Yeah, great question. Love answering this question. So we are a game. We are a game. Creators can create for our game. Players play our game. But the technology that our game exists on Other games might be interested in including that as well. Someone like Dungeons and Dragons have tons of homebrew content where people are already creating. They might want to like monetize that and create a system for that for their player base that loves their property. So we're a game, we are validating this model and the NFTs, and we have our own trading volume and all this stuff that happens with us. Other games like Savage Worlds might want to like just take our technology, we'll license it to them, and they can take advantage of this system as well.
Kiki, you want to go next?
Yeah, just trying to simplify this in my head. So, so your game, thank you. What you just said was really helpful. So then is your tech the monetization capability for players, or is it a minting?
Yeah, the term that I think you're looking for is the economic model, which is called play to earn. Just like esports, people make money by streaming their content, right? So like the traditional esports economic model is I play the game, you watch me play the game, I make money.
Yeah.
The new economic model that we're talking about and the technology that we're putting forth is play to earn. Not only are you making money from streaming the games, you can make money by just playing the games, because the game time that you're actually investing can be monetized through the rewards that you can trade with players. And so that model is validated. We have a number of games that use that model, and then we're trying to make that part of this community.
Cool. Thank you.
And then Jasmine.
Great. So in terms of buying the NFTs, are they mostly bought through rewards points, through dollars, through some combination? How should you think about that?
Just traditional dollars is perfectly fine. So these economies, these open economies within games kind of exist. People trade back and forth. So it's just traditional dollars. And you can think of NFTs just basically like you would think of a real estate deed, just like you buy and sell property, right? You can buy digital ownership of items. Just like you buy a property that earns you recurring revenue, you would buy a digital property that earns you recurring revenue in the digital world.
Okay, great. And now, good job. And now we're going to bring Ashton Keys back on with Athlytic. It sounds like everything's working now with the Zoom presentation, so hopefully no snags.
Thank you. Can you see my screen?
We can.
Perfect. Thank you. Cool.
We don't see a presentation yet. Sorry, we just see your desktop.
Really? Let's see. See my desktop. Okay.
Do you want to go without slides?
Yeah, I could just present it without slides and just run through it, and hopefully it goes good. So hello, everybody. My name is Ashton Keys. I'm the co-founder of a company called Athlytic, where we're giving brands access to partner with the top student athletes in the world. So the reason why we're building this is because 80% of student athletes are actually considered to be living below the poverty line while they're playing at their institution. And up until recently, on July 1st, none of them had the opportunity to make money for themselves. But although those student athletes do have the opportunity to make money for themselves, student athletes commit about 50+ hours a week, focusing on their academics as well as their sports. And the marketers that want to work with those student athletes currently don't have an efficient way to find and partner with those student athletes. So currently, student athletes, the way they're participating is they're literally putting out tweets and commenting on a brand's page saying my DMs are open, or they're literally commenting saying, sponsor me, please. I'm looking for endorsement opportunities. And we all know that's not the best or right way to put yourselves in position to negotiate endorsement opportunities. So our solution is a fully integrated marketplace that simplifies and seamlessly helps student athletes connect and manage potential endorsement partnerships. It also is a fully integrated marketplace that automates the process for identifying and vetting student athletes to help them reach their starter campaign goals. So from a market size, we've already seen just since the July 1st, $900 is the average transaction value for the endorsement opportunities. It's over $1.3 million were spent only in the first 2 weeks since July 1st and the law went into effect. And what's crazy is 53% of athletes outside of basketball and football are the ones that are getting endorsement opportunities. So a lot of people are afraid that it would only be revenue sports. So our product is quite simple. It's a two-sided marketplace where brands can either search for athletes as well as filter and get recommendations based on the athletes' connected social media profiles some things that their audience and engagement of potential partnerships, and brands can literally submit endorsement opportunities directly to the platform and pay athletes for that. It's also on the back end sent directly to their athletic administration so that they have oversight on what the athletes are doing. So our business model is simple. We actually charge brands a subscription fee for access to the platform, and it depends on the brand's engagement and the things that they're looking to do. So we've seen us help some brands build their campaigns as well as help them facilitate the deals. And then on the athlete side, we actually take a commission, 20% of all deals that's facilitated through our platform. And we have a ton of athletes. Like number one, potential lottery picks. We also have prep stars, as well as some local Northwestern stars like Veronica Bird and Tyler Haskins, who are using our platform, getting endorsement deals. We also have potential national champions like Chris Broswell, who played at Alabama. So the deals usually are social media engagements, and we've seen things such as endorsements, as well as appearances and commercials all facilitated through our platform. And from a competitive landscape, the thing that sets us out from our competitors is we're actually focused on solving the jobs that both parties have told to us. So things such as helping athletes get branding education on how to gain and increase their endorsement opportunities, as well as providing background checks, looking through social media profiles to highlight if an athlete has said anything that could potentially be detrimental to them or the brands that they're working with, as well as helping them with their pricing. So we actually have calculators built into our platform that gives athletes a range of what they should actually charge for endorsement opportunities. Remember, this is the first time they're ever doing this, and a lot of athletes have reached out to us when we first started, helping them and asking them of what they should charge for engagements. From a milestone perspective, we've already raised capital from platforms like Mountain Dew, Cadillac, Lighthouse Labs, and the CVC Capital partners. We are working with over 600 plus athletes, helping them negotiate endorsement opportunities, and working on a program with VCU to help educate their student athletes on how to increase their brand. We also are participating in a Venture for America Accelerator and have 9 publications and did a TV show at BT, some of the publications being ESPN and Forbes. And our team is the perfect team to do this. I actually come from a background in product management, where I actually built their mobile marketplace as well as their financial technology, some of their Rocket HQ as well as Rocket Mortgage. And my co-founder comes from a background in corporate partnership development, where he worked with the Cleveland Cavaliers as well as did a job at the Rock Nation, helping facilitate over 10 plus corporate brand partnerships. And one thing that we're doing to change the world is we want athletes from all backgrounds, specifically underrepresented backgrounds, to have the opportunity to monetize and change their financial situation. A perfect story for that is an athlete we worked with, where at the time when we were starting, he actually, during the pandemic, had to go back to the university and stay on campus because he didn't have access to Wi-Fi. That same athlete, we actually put recurring payments in his pocket for 6 months, where he actually not only changed his financial situation, but also helped his family and gave his family opportunities. And we also want to give athletes not access to.
I'm sorry, I have to cut you off and bring the judges on, but you can talk about all these amazing things when they ask the questions. The judges.
Cool. Sorry about the presentation. It would help a lot, but
no worries. You did a great job. Okay, let's start with Jasmine.
Great. So I'm curious how you're thinking about building up the marketplace. How are you focusing on athletes or brands first? And like, why does a brand want to be on your marketplace versus some of the other NIL serving marketplaces?
Yeah, so we're working with athletes first, and we've been getting a ton of good response. So we're going directly to the athletes, reaching out to them via. The good thing about us is all the athletes are public, so we know all athletes at all universities as well as their public profiles. So we've been reaching out to them, and they've been joining our platform at a rapid rate, just because they've heard some other platforms, some of the things that we've seen in the industry, where a lot of brands are giving universal standard deals, where they are, giving one amount to all athletes and not giving athletes the opportunity to negotiate. And that was one of the biggest things we built in our platform. And athletes really like that about us and have a trust within us. And that goes into kind of what I was talking about with the calculator and helping them determine if this deal is a great deal versus it's just a standard deal that they're sending to everybody.
Ryan, you want to go next?
Yeah, I mean, a lot to unpack here. It is a very competitive and exciting space. But I'm just curious, like, how do you support, it's kind of tricky to think about how to differentiate yourself in the space. So I want to know, like, how do you support athletes outside of like the transaction? If there ever is a value proposition for this space, it's that, right? And so I'm just curious on like how you support athletes outside of like the financial transaction.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot of different things. One, helping them navigate the space of understanding their value. So that's the first thing. We're giving them at least a range of how much are they worth for certain engagements when it comes to endorsement opportunities, whether it's social media or appearances. And we've already done that at a rapid rate with all the athletes on our platform, specifically ones that are receiving opportunities where they're reaching out directly to us to get help to gauge what they're worth. Second is when you think about the financial standpoint of helping them figure out how to, one, manage their money, but also when it's time for taxes and things of that nature, prepare themselves to be, as they're bringing in money, to put themselves in a good position during when that time comes. And then lastly, it's like what we're doing with the universities, is helping educate them. Actually, we're bringing in TikTokers, bringing in famous TikTokers to universities, as well as with ourselves, to educate them on how not only to get opportunities, but how do you grow your brand to scale your opportunities beyond just what you're receiving? And we're already doing that at the institutions, but we want to take that and bring that onto the platform as well.
Kiki, you want to go next?
Yeah, I love Ryan's question. I was going to ask that, so darn, but I got another one lined up. Let's talk on the brand side, and how you're attracting. I get like the value proposition for the athletes. I think that's tremendous. So on the brands, why is a brand going to pick you? I mean, aside from, I know the volume of athletes is going to come on, but like brands have a lot of these platforms to choose from too. So what's the differentiator there for you?
Yeah, and that's a great question, because I actually just spoke with a brand recently on why they wanted to come to us. So it's a couple. One thing is it's so many different athletes, and there's so many different people that they could potentially work with. So one of the things we're offering is not only just helping them have the platforms to facilitate the deal, but helping them that the potential partnerships. So things such as, I kind of said this a little bit before, but we use the audience interest, engagement, and data from the social media profiles of the athletes to potentially make partnership recommendations to brands. So a brand can say, hey, I'm looking for someone that is in St. Louis and have an audience of people between 18 to 24. Their audience engages with sportswear drinks. And we can, because we have access to their social media accounts, because they connect to our platform, we can make more detailed recommendations versus now what they're doing now is going
to cut us off. I'm sorry. We're at the mark, but
cool.
Great recovery despite not having slides. I think you did a wonderful job presenting the concept, and hopefully they can go Google it and see it live, because it is live. So, all right, judges, we're going to say goodbye to you, and we are going to welcome Bob Thurman to the stage.
Hi.
Hey, Bob. I'll give Ashton a second to go off a video. But for everyone else, Bob is the VP of Wilson Labs at Wilson Sporting Goods Company. He has 2.5 decades of R&D experience leading the design and development of innovative products for the global marketplace. In his current role, Bob leads the innovation process in a global organization of designers, engineers, and scientists to create and sustain a competitive edge for Wilson by generating innovative concepts, technologies, and IP that fuel a constant flow of well-designed, high-performance products that the athlete will value. I think our interview is done. Now I know all the cool things.
I might need to rewrite that. That's too technical.
No, it's great. Yeah, I mean, can you describe to us, like, I guess maybe more in layman's terms, what that means, like on a daily basis that you're working on at Wilson?
Other than a bunch of fancy words put together?
Well, we like the fancy words. Innovation is one of our buzzwords.
Yeah. Right. I think everybody, hello, everybody. First and foremost, thank you, Desiree and the whole TechRise crew for allowing us the opportunity to sponsor this event. I think it's fantastic. I love being around these types of entrepreneurs, because their energy is just contagious. And it really makes me want to go out and even do even more. So my job at Wilson Sporting Goods as part of Wilson Labs is to look out over the horizon and look at where our company might go. And in our world, we're all about sports, right? And very specific sports at this point in time. And what can we, put ourselves on a path to intersect these kind of like emerging technologies? And there's some really, really smart ones that are being presented here today. So, beyond that, it's like understanding the technology that's out there, bringing those insights back into the company, putting together kind of the dots that need to be connected so that our company can understand how we might could create value in the future. Technology is exploding, and that we're used to thinking about our company as the equipment used at the heart of the game. That's what everybody on this call knows. They know our tennis racket, or if you want to talk about the volleyball from Castaway, which was a great one as well. But it's the ball that's used at the U.S. Open tonight when you watch that. It's the football that Tom Brady threw last night to make that winning drive. it's the NBA basketball that's going to be on the court starting here in a few months, to the equipment that Gary Woodland uses to win, the U.S. Open. But we're so much more than that. We've got a lot of different areas that we're getting into. The digital athlete obviously is first and foremost, and how do we intersect with that? Esports is this whole thing that we're trying to figure out. We're a very physical, product company. How do we participate with our brand in that sport? We're starting to find good ways, just ways of making products new, factories of the future, those kind of things, like digital methods of manufacturing products, all kinds of stuff. So this is really good for us to be a part of these type of things, and we're really proud the Chicago-based nature of it, and couldn't be more excited. We've been in Chicago for 100 years. We were founded in 100 years by some really sports tinkerers that wanted to figure out how to use byproducts of the livestock industry to make sporting goods. So we were using pig gut for tennis string and leather for baseballs and that kind of stuff. And that's how the company started, as an innovative play off of that. And we like to think of ourselves as a 100-year-old startup. So we're just getting rolling. We've got our first store that we've ever opened in the Chicago area. Now, if you guys want to get down to Rush Street and see that, that's a fantastic environment. We have a pop-up store in New York, and we have lots of plans for that. So just lots of great things going on with the brand. So I hope that tells you a little bit. It's my job to pull in and synthesize complex information and teach the organization about where things may go.
Yeah. Well, I'm a Chicago transplant, as you can probably tell by my Chiefs jersey that I'm wearing today. And I didn't know you guys were based here until pretty recently. And so I'm excited that you're here with us today, because I think there is such a neat opportunity for you all to intersect with startups. And even as not that I'm biased in any way about the pitches, but as Remix was pitching, I was thinking how much my kids would enjoy being able to design a ball in a game that they could then play with in real life. And that seems like a world that will be a reality potentially soon. So it's exciting. Are there other ways that you see startups in Chicago coming to, the Wilson boardroom to either present or kind of expose you to new concepts?
Absolutely. That's why I try to keep as good a presence on LinkedIn as I possibly can, because that's generally where somebody will connect. But then there's other entities such as TechRise or other kind of accelerators that we're part of. And we're just sitting there waiting for somebody to come teach us what we should be doing. A lot of times where that's the beauty of most of it, is that here's how you can create brand value for Wilson, at the same time helping a startup get going as well. And we've done that a lot in several different places. There's a huge trade show in town starting on Monday, which is called Rapid TCT. It's about 3D printing and additive manufacturing. And we just partnered with a local startup out of Northwestern called Azul. And we're going to bring a product to market that's the first completely 3D printed product of its nature in the sporting goods space. We had a connected basketball, and we still have a connected basketball and a connected football. And we worked with a startup as well on that, and that helped us learn to measure things, much like the Beyond the Soul that Ahmad was talking about earlier. It's like those are things that are really good adjacencies to our brand. Everything going on with name, image, and likeness. There's a lot of other marketers that are actually on the call, probably listening to me speak, that are just trying to figure this out as well. So, listening to, Ashton there at the end is very helpful, because we're looking for those same kind of solutions as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Of course, it intersects with IoT, it intersects with esports, it intersects with social media and social media marketing and influencers. There's just so many different intersections with what you all do. So it's exciting. One of the things that we talk about all the time at TechRise is how startups can, use relationships with corporate partners almost to kind of displace some of the capital needs that exist for startups, because obviously revenue is better than dilutive capital. And so as someone in your role, and this is a little bit more of a higher level question that's not on the script, of course, but how do you recommend startups who are, at a stage where they're ready to engage with someone like Wilson, reaching out and getting involved?
How do I recommend they make that happen, or
Yeah, well, specifically with you guys, and then also, I guess.
Value is value, right? It can come in the terms of capital. It can come in terms of just the brand equity that we bring to things, and we do that a lot. A lot of people are trying to get their name out there so they can raise more rounds of funding, and we try to help them with that. We'll collaborate and use our brand strength in a lot of different ways that does help them leverage some investment into their company. We've done that a lot of times, and we welcome any and all type of proposition from anyway about how we can do it. I wish we had a $4 billion innovation fund that we could just, spread out. Unfortunately, we don't, but we have some, and we spread that kind of that monetary outlay sometimes when we can. So there's a lot of different ways to work with Wilson, and we're open, and we're wide open to anybody and their ideas about how we could create value not only for our company but for the startup as well.
So everyone should personally direct message you on LinkedIn.
What? I say that out loud.
Just the good ideas, just the good ones.
Well, a lot of times I try to serve as the conduit. If I get an idea, it may be that's something that's in my wheelhouse, but I'll push it out to other individuals or organization that maybe particular to a sport, or maybe particular to how we're running our e-commerce platform or social media platforms, and I'll get that type of proposition out to the right person in our company for evaluation.
Great. Thank you. So I haven't heard that the judges are done deliberating yet. So it sounds like we have a few more questions, but where do you think sports innovation is going to happen? What do you think is going to be the big innovation over the next 5 to 10 years, you think?
You're watching it right here. This is where it is. We actually had an equipment idea, a connected digital athlete idea with a soul beyond the soul technology. I've already mentioned it once. Then you see where the brand plays are going into the name, image, likeness world of, these collaborations with athletes that are becoming their own influencers and their own brands. So it's really this intersection of sports, which is what everybody loves. At the very end of the day, there is a sport here that everybody loves to watch. And then there's entertainment that comes into that. And then there's technology. And we're looking for things right at that intersection of all three of those. We're looking for expansions to things like, even if you guys have ever played Topgolf, these different formats that bring different aspects of sports together, looking for startups and ideas in that world as well. And just how do we play into esports in and of itself, and the world of non-fungible tokens, and how do we participate in things like that? We actually do have an NFT around a 2K basketball that's going to be in the game. So, that's something that we're trying to figure out as well. How do we do more of that kind of stuff, and any and all of it. But, sports, it keeps going, and, it's that's what at the heart of what we do is we want to make this equipment, but we also want to make sure that people live a life of sport, because we talk about this concept of this Forever 28 athlete. That's the athlete that played a lot of sports growing up, and it still wants to live that life of sports, which could be fulfilled in a lot of different ways. And a lot of that is what our sportswear platform is being built off of. So if you get a chance to go to our website, and you see some of the sportswear stuff that we're doing and what we're doing in the store as well, and just bringing our brand. We're about sports. Wilson is sports.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It sounds like they're not done yet, but I'm going to just make a comment on that. And that is as a high school athlete, not one good enough to play in college, but a decent one. I miss playing field hockey and soccer. And I live, not unhealthily, but vicariously through my children, partially by coaching them. And we do have an Oculus here in the house, but I'm really ready for some kind of more connected device where I get to, carefully play soccer without the risk of knee injury or getting too breathless in my home. So
yeah, I didn't even get into AR VR, right?
I know. Well, I'm sure it's the evolution of esports that, is natural, right?
Yeah, but we have a friend of mine that's on the call, Jeanette Rouse. She was asking questions about all these kind of things. And I'm like, so sport, when it comes to tech, as it relates to sports, it's a very wide, kind of universe of ideas that are coming together. But yeah, we actually do. We have several relationships and also some work in the area of VR, AR, like in the sport of tennis. So how do you play tennis in your living room? Oh,
good. They're back right on the hour. Great job.
Hey, all right. Thank you, Desiree. Appreciate it. And
thanks, Bob. It was so nice having you.
Good job. That was very exciting.
All right. With that, we'll bring all of the founders onto the stage and co-founders. And who's going to announce the winner today?
I will be announcing the winner.
All right, Chris.
Well, I just want to thank everyone for their presentations, and what a great job you all did. And our winner is Athletic and
Athletic.
Athletic and Ashton.
Great. Congratulations.
So great job overcoming your slide troubles and doing a good job presenting.
Unflappable.
Thank
Well,
you.
Ashton, do you want to say a couple words?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for working with me for sure, and the slides and things. I'm super excited to have the support, and this will be extremely helpful for us. And like Wilson said, we have a ton of athletes that's interested in Wilson, so for sure, if there's some opportunities, we'd love to talk about that.
Well, great job, and great job, everyone. Today was, I thought, one of the most compelling set of pitches that we've had, and really proud to have you all from Chicago representing sports tech so powerfully in a city that hasn't always been known for sports tech, especially in the startup world. So just as a reminder, this is not your only opportunity to be on TechRise. We will gladly welcome you back, and have a wonderful weekend, everyone. And congratulations again to Athletic.